Let's move now to the Eastern Cape, where the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro is still grappling with a crippling drought. The crisis, in fact, is worsening. Mpofu Dam is now at 7% capacity. That's the lowest it's been since the dam was built in 1983. Mayor Retief Odendaal says plans are underway to mitigate the water crisis. However, eNCA senior reporter Ronald Masinda has been following the story. He joins us now. So, Ronald, 7% full. Can they actually extract water at such a low level?
Well, according to the statement released by the Nelson Mandela Bay municipality, only 1% can be extracted from the Mpofu Dam. The Mpofu Dam, as you well know, Sally, is the most important dam in the region, with it serving a lot of people and residents from these communities. But the concerns are just how whether other dams will be having enough water to provide many residents who are still worried as to whether or not day zero is looming. But what we heard today is the strategy that the Nelson Mandela municipality will be taking. They say that this strategy will include the upgrading of bulk infrastructure and addressing the bottlenecks in the distribution network, as well as providing emergency services when they are in trouble in terms of trying to extract water from other dams. So there is a project in place, and this project will have about 10 items that will be included, and costing in the region of 1.2 billion rand. We understand that the National Department for Water and Sanitation will also be providing a comprehensive update as to how they will be trying to tackle this project by next week with the Nelson Mandela Bay municipality. Retief Odendaal is the mayor.
The mayor's talked about Mpofu Dam. It is our most important dam. The water has, when we were there, you saw that the water level is lower. The intake tower can't get water out the dam. We put a barge down. Subsequently put a second barge down so that we have about 67 megalitres that we can put into the uptake tower. The dam is at that level where we have to move those barges about 6 kilometres further down the river, closer to the dam wall, and that project is going well. The electricity connection is the next major phase that we need to do there. So we're just waiting for supply chain to approve that contract so we can connect the electricity, and then we can get the last little bit of water out that dam.
All right, so Ronald, that's the MMC for Infrastructure and Engineering in Gqeberha, talking about exactly what you were mentioning earlier, that there's literally 1% of Mpofu Dam's water that's available to be extracted until you hit all the sludge. So it's really a very difficult situation. You were referencing the mayor, Retief Odendaal. They have had a lot of projects on the go, whether it's moving water here, there, everywhere. Let's just take a listen to the mayor now, giving a bit more detail on that.
Up until October, the system will remain vulnerable, because then we don't have the ability to reticulate that water to the suburbs in the southern side and on certain sections in the western side. It actually also goes up all the way to some of our central suburbs, including New Brighton, Struendale and so on. So demand is too high. We're still averaging 285 to 286, 288 megalitres a day, when Department of Water Affairs saying to us it should actually be nowhere more than 250 megalitres at the moment.
Wow, so there's quite a few difficult months ahead in order to actually stay away from this dreaded day zero. Ronald, I saw earlier this afternoon you were chatting to a couple who I think were at Mpofu Dam fishing, if I'm not mistaken. Tell me a little bit more about that conversation and how residents are feeling.
So that conversation followed a conversation I also had with Retief Odendaal, talking about just how things have occurred during the festive season. Of course, the municipality or the metro had a lot of visitors during the festive season, and that they welcome this. But the real issue is just on the issues of water usages. I mean, as you drive into Nelson Mandela Bay or Gqeberha, you could clearly see a lot of signs of how people are being urged to use water sparingly. There are signs of how people must try and reuse water, for example, for maybe watering their plants and so forth. And also just when they take showers, that they must take at least not longer than 2-minute showers. And this was a message that they were hoping that the hospitality sector would be addressing with the many visitors that came to the region. But the concerns are that things just got a lot worse. The consumption levels are a lot worse. Each household has been allocated around 50 liters of water per day. And since the festive season, a lot of people have far exceeded that amount, especially visitors. And the visitors that I spoke to earlier, Sally, they were people who were just out fishing. They've been in Gqeberha for the past 2 weeks. They're from the Western Cape, and they say, they've been one of the people that have been following or heeding the call from the municipality, also having experienced a serious drought in the Western Cape around 2015, where dam levels reached zero, and there were issues of how people will also be given fines if they were found to be wasting water. So they're saying that they've been trying to encourage others within the Nelson Mandela Bay region to use water sparingly, as this could be a long time in terms of how this drought could play out. I mean, it's been now 8 years, Sally, and dam levels have been below 20% for over a past 4-year period.
Yeah, I mean, that is a long drought, 8 years of drought. But of course, the point you're making is that Mpofu Dam has never been this low, not since 1983 when the dam was built. So it really is a very critical time, and it's going to be a few difficult months ahead. Thank you so much, eNCA senior reporter Ronald Masinda in the Eastern Cape.